This is a Missy Elliott exclusive. Come on.
Nobody watch Game of Thrones?
I do, but I don't remember all the names.
No.
It's the best show.
Listen to me.
What, I gotta watch it?
Go on Netflix and watch it. First of all, the imagination that this guy... Listen, you're tired tonight, but you just got to trust me when I tell you that Game of Thrones is the illest. The illest.
Somebody told me about that, though.
Gonna be obsessed.
The first one, you're just like, wow, what's going on?
Yeah.
It's really
You're talking about the
middle.
very first episode.
Yeah, it's really the middle of episode 2 where you're like... And then the end of the first season, you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yes.
Oh, well, I'm
And
glad
then-
y'all told me, because I'm one of those ones.
No,
If
no,
you
no,
don't
no.
catch me at the beginning...
Nah.
The reason why is it's so dense, the material, like there's so many things going on, and they have to set up so much. Just give them a little time to breathe, to set you up so you
Yes.
know who everybody is.
Yes.
And then
Okay.
once...
Dude, you're saying it so perfect, by the way.
Once you realize that this world is so big, and by the end of the season you think you know everybody, and the world just keeps getting bigger, and you're just
Bigger.
like, oh my God, how does this happen?
And the
Word?
most genius part is that you start falling in love with characters because you're used to like television shows and movies and the way that they set up things, which is very old. They just make you fall in love with one person, right? Anybody you fall in love with on this show is getting murked.
Wow.
And you're in disbelief like, what? H and I were like, what? What is happening? How you gonna kill him?
Well, no, I
wow.
think a better way to explain it is that nobody is safe and everybody can. Not everybody does.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, that's a better way to explain it.
I gotta watch this then.
No, it's amazing. And it makes you realize that, like, the air in the show, the world, is the star of that series and not one character.
Exactly.
Oh.
It's genius. I've never seen nothing like that in my life.
Wow.
We went on a 1 week binge. I couldn't wait to come home every day. Like, just turn it on right now. And we get like 2 or 3 episodes in.
Wow. Well, I'm gonna watch it. You know
This
me.
is listen, we're weirdos. This is for us.
The Wire and Game of Thrones are the 2 best written television shows in the history of TV.
Yes.
And Larry Sanders.
Yes. The Hound. The Hound in the Mountain. You don't understand. So when do we start? When can we start? When can we start? When can we? Now?
This is OTHERtone, and I'm Pharrell Williams.
Scott Vener here.
I don't ever want to feel like I'm not learning more.
This record changed my life.
Pursue and go with your gut, and if you really believe you can do it, like, you definitely can.
If you don't like this, I don't like you.
If you play your joint and somebody can pick up their phone and text a message, that means you do not have a smash record. It's really, honestly, music that's made an impression on us, all based on one thing. Feeling.
So we're here with I always feel funny like introducing people because it's like you're on a radio show or something. This is so weird. And that's not what we do. Like, we have these conversations. But we have to introduce. So
As soon as they hear our voice, they're going to know.
yeah. So we're in here with the wizard. You know.
Wizard.
We're in here with the wizard. We are in here with she who levitates.
Oh, wow.
One who spits with laser beams.
Well, do this work in the LA traffic since I can levitate?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish, by the way. But she's a master of songs, writing, producing, developing your favorite artists. Like, she's done it, continues to do it, and is like white fire hot right now.
True.
I ain't heard of that one before.
Well, you know.
You got to watch Game of Thrones.
Right, I was getting ready to say this must be from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, white fire. She white fire hot. Missy Elliott.
Here I am. 2 up, 2 down.
Yeah, 2 up, 2 down. Shout to 7 cities back home.
Yes.
How old were you guys when you first met?
I don't know, it had to been, 92?
Yeah, that sound about right.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Crazy.
just put that age out
And
there.
what-
Jeez.
And when was the first time you released a song officially with any group?
Me, as far as a group,
Because I know you're in a group, right? Before you did solo stuff. But was that like 96, 95?
Oh, nah, I was out then as a solo artist.
Oh, okay.
The group probably was 93, actually.
93?
So then it was
you met a
before
year
then.
before.
It had to be before then because we released brand new under a group called Sista that was under Devante. So, yeah, that was 93. Shoot.
Where did you guys, I guess what I'm asking is where did you guys met casually, like as friends before you guys knew that you did music, or was it music that made you guys meet?
Music. Of course.
Yeah.
He used to be in a group, him and Tim. And was Larry in that group? Mm-hmm. Emo? What's his name? Elmo?
Yeah. And Magoo.
Magoo.
Yeah.
Surrounded by idiots.
Yeah.
What a name.
Chad wasn't in there yet?
Huh?
Was Chad in there?
No. Chad was in, we were in a different group together at the same time. So it was the Neptunes and it was S.B.I.
And what kind of music did you guys make?
Which one?
In S.B., Surrounded by Idiots.
S.B.I.'s,
That's
we were
really
like...
good.
It is. It's not him, though. The phone says Tim.
Oh, that's Tim?
No. No. It's another Tim.
Like, what?
For real. Wow. Nah, he's cool. Big bro.
Yeah, man.
Timbo the King. The music that we were making, I'm going to say, was like largely influenced by like Tribe at that time. Mm-hmm. But he was like, you know, Tim's beats was like his own thing. So it was his interpretation of that, which is still crazy to me. Mm-hmm. Another level.
Because I thought I heard an interview with Tim saying that he really gives you credit for pushing him to do the production stuff.
Yeah, because he was a DJ. He was a DJ Timmy Tim.
And he was so nice. He was so nice. I be trying to tell people how nice he...
You can tell it's in his production. The way he...
Yo, his sick. Cutting, like, people probably don't know what that is now, but I'm sure that some people do, but, like, his cutting was, like, unbelievable.
Crazy.
Like, he was so incredibly, like he was technically skilled.
No, he was. Like, just as great at doing that as in music, because when I first heard him cut, the stuff that he was doing with the needle,
yeah,
was like, and you know, because everybody had their little tricks, but he would do stuff that make it have a sound to it that didn't sound like just cutting or scratching. Like, he would make a sound out of it. It was weird.
Instrument.
Yeah.
And you would just hear him at parties, or like... I'm just trying to imagine all you guys like hanging out in local parties in Virginia together.
I used to go to Tim's house, and he had like a big turntable in his house. And I don't think he even understood how great he was of a producer because he was just DJing.
Right.
But I remember one day he pulled out a little Casio keyboard, and that's how I knew it was something genius about him, because this is like the start-em-up Casio where you got the little bird sound and the little clap on it. Mm-hmm. You ain't got a whole bunch of sounds. And it was just funny. Whatever one of those Charlie Brown characters that used to play on the keyboard, that's how Tim looked.
It's true.
And, but whatever he created out of that little keyboard was as if he was working with a Triton or the ASR 10 back then.
Right.
But he wasn't doing a lot of producing. He would take and sample something, and then I just come and start singing over it. And I was like, yo, you need to produce records. And each day, me and Magoo would go over there and, you know, shoot. I know, that's when I graduated, because we stayed at Tim's house till like 2 in the morning, just singing, rapping, freestyling over and over and over again. We never ran out of freestyles. Now I don't even know if I could do that, but we just rapped about whatever. And he just started creating more beats, you know, because at first he didn't know he was about to be doing that, so we rapping over the same beat for like 3 weeks. So then he just started doing beats, and I was just like, yo, and once I got signed with my group, I told Devante from Jodeci, I was like, this guy got to come with us. And of course, you know, he looking like I'm the hottest cat out here. What you talking about? Like, every record on the radio is one of my records. If it's not Jodeci.
Yeah, that must have been weird.
Oh, yeah. And, I'm like, no, this dude is something else. And I just knew he was going to kick me out the group because, like, you being very demanding for somebody. He sold a single record. But he flew him up there, and he saw what I saw and heard what I heard.
When you guys first started making beats in that room, was the intention to ever, like, we're going to release this? Or were you guys just, like, in a room or making music together? How did it go from you getting a record deal to you guys just being in the room creatively expressing yourself?
I think when we first did it, when we first started doing music, of course, we thought about becoming famous one day, but I don't feel like we walked in there like that. I felt like we just had the passion for music, and we just loved to be around it and loved to do it. We didn't know we would go on to, make records and shoot videos or any of that. It was just...
the reason why I asked is today, any kid in their bedroom could actually do it themselves. Yes. Mm-hmm. And back then, there were no examples online for us to go to and see, hey, I can pull this off on my own. So to be able to, like, come up with the idea that you could actually make it is something, like, in itself.
Oh, yeah. We be in that bedroom with a long cord that extended all through the hallway. Oh, nasty mic. And muffled and all. And that's where it started.
And, like, you had a plan on how you were going to get these records out or get them into... Did you know
Never
people around town that were in the business that could actually get it to somebody who... Like, how did Devante find you guys?
Well, we tried to go to Teddy Riley first, who had moved to Virginia. And we went and performed for him. And I don't think we was hot enough. He was looking at us like, nah, that ain't the biz. So we had got all dressed up. We saved our money just to go to his studio, Future Records. I never forgot. And
wow.
We had been rehearsing. And, he had a guy. He was working on Blackstreet too. So, these were incredible singers. And I think he just looked at us like, nah. So then one of my friends in the group met a guy named Charlucci. She went to a Jodeci show previously, and she met him, and she told him she had a group, and he said, well, look, we coming back out that way, and y'all come through. We came back with the same outfits that we had saved up for Teddy Riley. We had the combat boots on, the cane, everything. We was dressed completely like Jodeci.
Wow.
And we went backstage. We sung for Dalvin from Jodeci first, and he loved it. And then, he was like, let me call my brother. So clearly they liked what they heard. And we had beats that Tim had done that we were singing over. So Devante said, I want to sign y'all. And he said, I'm going to fly y'all to New York next Thursday. Being from Virginia, that just sounded good, but it sounded like that ain't finna happen. But he really did. He flew us up that next Thursday, and we signed the papers. We didn't know what we were signing, but we was like, anything is better than nothing.
And Tim was a part of that, or
no,
he ended up not being a part of that?
He wasn't a part of that. He became a part of that once I got signed, and I went to Devante saying, we got to have this guy to do our album. And me, Tim, and Magoo ended up in Jersey.
And then from there, it went to you getting a solo deal and leaving Devante's label?
Well, the group ended up finishing up an album called For All the Sisters Around the World. But then Sylvia, which is funny because she, we were signed to Elektra, and she dropped us, but then signed me as a solo artist later. And she dropped us because I think it was something with Devante label and her that they wasn't seeing eye to eye. Then she signed me later, solo.
And I was doing a little research before I got here, and I saw that it was Puffy who actually encouraged you to rap again. You were going to give it up.
Yes. I wanted to have a label and just have artists and do writing and producing. I happened to be in the studio one day with Faith Evans, and he came over and he was like, "Yo, Money." You know, it don't matter if you girl or guy, like he addressed you the same, like, "Yo, Money, you still rap?" And I'm like, kind of, like, "Didn't I meet you at Devante house?" And he said, "I got this record that I want you to hop on." And I was so nervous, you know, because you got to think Bad Boy was on fire. You got Biggie on your roster. You got Total, Faith Evans, every hot person ever. So I said, "Can you please just let me, you know, do it by myself, because I've never recorded in front of anybody, not even Tim." And Pharrell either. No one has. I said, "I could be Milli Vanilli like nobody."
It's true.
Never recorded in front of anybody. And so he allowed me to go in the studio. He was doing a record called The Things You Do off of Gina Thompson's record.
Crazy.
And I went in and I did the rap, and he came in, and I walked out because I didn't want to see, you know, what he was going to say. And
it's crazy. You've been like this the whole time. That's why I say you're a wizard, because as good as you are, no one would ever believe that this is your process, except by the fact you're saying this right now.
Oh, no. I walked out the room because I did not want to see what he was going to say. He came out like, "Yo, Money, what the fuck made you say yeah?" What kind of shit is that? And little did I know, like, that was going to be the tagline every time. Like, the DJs would always bring that back.
Yeah. I mean, I say this all the time on our show, but countless times he just is so good at identifying talent.
Dude.
People don't give him enough credit for
At
that.
all.
No.
They don't see the talented part usually, because he has such a big personality that he truly, like, there's people who try to mimic his personality and think that's what being who he is. Right. And they're so wrong, because his ability to identify talent is at a higher standard than pretty much anyone in the music business.
100%.
I don't even think Puffy knows what he did for hip-hop, because he intertwined hip-hop and R&B. He made it so that people weren't intimidated. Even if you had a Biggie who was giving street lyrics and coming from a place that a lot of people made that world that they may not know of, that's just straight hood. Puffy found those he would get a 112 to sing on a hook, and so you didn't feel offended or intimidated, or felt like, you just felt like it felt good. You know, Biggie was still real to himself, but the music was there, and the way he intertwined it in all of those records, he stayed doing it. I don't even think he understands the magnitude of what he did.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really interesting way to look at it, because he almost made those gangster lyrics, so to speak, accessible to everyone. You know, you were just vibing out to the music and having a good time. You weren't even thinking about how crazy the lyrics were, because it felt good. I always give him respect for that.
Yeah, Puffy done cussed me out a couple of times.
He does that too. I've been cussed out by him.
That's true.
I guess we made it.
There's a famous book by a manager in Hollywood. You haven't made it in Hollywood until somebody wants you dead.
Oh, jeez.
It's a very true metaphor, I think.
Yeah, well, if it's got anything to do with Puff cussing you out, you most definitely have made it. I made it.
How did this time come around where you guys were working together?
I think the world just missed her. I think that's all I have to say.
Well, we did a record, On and On, which is still knocks crazy. The great thing about P is he's a student of music, and that's very important. People don't realize that, and that's, you know, not just in hip hop, in music, period. I believe if you want to be great, you have to be a student of music, and he is that. You know, he's a teacher now, but he go ahead. He's a teacher now, but he's always studied music and a sincere love of the hip hop culture.
Yeah.
And so when we did On and On, he was the one that came up with the melody and just immediately kind of like that old school Roxanne Shante or Salt and Pepper, any of those ones, and made it cool where it didn't feel dated. And to be able to hear that, because somebody else might would have been like, you know, well, this is what we're doing in this era, in this time, and that's not going to work. But he was able to hear that, and that's one of my favorite records. And not just because he's sitting here. So I always said, you know, I work very closely with Tim. And Tim is one of those people, the only person that I always thought got me for his, you know, we just was one. But I said if it would be anybody else that I would work with as a producer outside of Tim would be P, because that's the only other person that I think could get me. So we ended up linking up together again. He caught me at a time where very downtime, you know, mentally going through just doubt, and him being the uplifting spirit Zen yoga type guy that he is.
Pusha calls him Gandhi.
You guys are funny.
Yeah, you know, he's that. But that's a good thing, you know, because people think as artists that we're not subject to going through depression or having a down day or being sad or any of those things, because they just see the surface. And, you know, I remember being that kid seeing, look, you got the fly whip, you got the money, you can go buy whatever. Like, how dare you be down? Like, how dare you? But when you have had a great amount of success in trying to continue that and not keeping it real with yourself and saying the respect, people will always respect, but you won't be hot all the time. Like, that's hard for people artists to digest until you get to that place. And it's just like the people that you could call on before when you was on fire, they ain't nowhere to be found. And till you get hot again, they right at your door.
Well, it must have been really inspiring for you and put like a new batter in your back after the Super Bowl.
Well, the funny thing is, before the Super Bowl, P hit me about doing the BET Awards with him. And it's funny because I go through those things where something big may happen and I go back to my regular world. And everybody else be like, you know, like say after the BET Awards, people thinking, okay, drop a record. Me, I'm at Home Depot picking up my brooms and stuff. I'm taking my dogs to the groomers. Then after the Super Bowl, my homies is calling me like, you finished shooting a video? What you doing? You ready to party? Like, celebrate? No, I'm actually in here watching my dogs, and I just finished vacuuming my floor. Like, I went back to regular life, and then P hit me like, what you doing? And, you know, we had our talks. He was like, you know, I want to get in with you. And who says I'm busy? I'm booked. I'm booked vacuuming my floor right now. So I'm like, yeah, cool. And I came out here, which, you know, I said this in another interview. You rarely run into people like Pharrell.
True.
Because he was dealing with his own situation at the time, going to court. And instead of him absorbing all of that and feeling like, you know, pity on himself, he was still trying to keep me uplifted in that moment. You'd be like, dang, like that's somebody that is, for one, clearly not selfish at all. And someone who really, like how you look at Michael Jackson and, well, for me, how I looked at Michael Jackson, I said, he really cared about the world because he could have sung a trillion different other records, but he said, heal the world. I'm going to start looking at the man in the mirror. Like, he didn't have to sing these records to make the world a better place. P, instead of him, you know, wallowing in what he was going through, it was like he came in and that energy, his spirits was so uplifted, and he like, yo, I got some ish. Basically, I got some ish, and he plugged it up. He started spitting his verse. I was like, oh, it's a done deal. It's a done deal.
And it worked out.
Yes. You know, I thank you.
I thank you.
You know, we go in and it's like, yo, we want that hood bop, but he can't even help it. He makes music universal.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, this is awkward, but thank you. But I have to say, you know, that was a crazy time for me. You have no idea. Like, you being there just gave me more reason to be more of myself versus deflating and being a lesser version of myself. It made me want to be more of myself. And I wouldn't have never made that beat for not only anybody else. I wouldn't have made that beat for me. That's the energy that you were just giving off. Like, you just, you know, just like on and on. I would have never made that beat. I love that beat, but I would have never been able to make that for anybody else.
You could have made that beat, though. You could have.
I think it goes to something he mentioned earlier today, was him taking on like a method acting approach to certain things, and I think he does look at it sometimes as a role where he'll look at who he's making the beat for and try and imagine what they would want.
Right.
Like, I don't know if you ever heard it, but it's one of the greatest things I've ever heard is when he does his Busta Rhymes to like put a cadence over it. It almost sounds just like him, like perfect.
Right.
And so you know that he's building a beat to create the pocket for him to be able to do whatever he wants to do on it with his imagination. And I think it's that allows him to create certain beats and sounds, you know, for the particular artist.
You're spot on, which is why I go back to it again. Like, I would have never made that. That's why I you know how many times I've thanked you. Like,
I mean, you probably go through that
all
too.
the time. I'm like, man, thank you so much. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, listen, you don't understand
right,
what you're giving
like...
off. You know? And I capture a little bit of that. You know what kind of beat that turns into? When I'm just take a little of that vibe.
Yeah, it's crazy though. But when I heard it, I was just like, look at this genius here. Like, but he knew he had some fish. You know how you do records and you feel like I know it's hot, but I really don't know what the world is gonna think about it. No, he walked in and knew. Oh no, I got some issues. Period. Point blank.
Where did you record the vocals?
I recorded in Atlanta. Yeah, all by myself. I record myself.
Do you think the reason why you record by yourself, and if I were to guess, and I've never rapped before, or written lyrics, but I would assume your style is something where you're so creative with your flows that you probably do so much trial and error until you feel like it's right, that you wouldn't want to do some of those things in front of other people.
Oh, totally.
Until you get it right.
Go ahead. Are you just psychic? No, that's totally what it is. And it's
and with people around you, it probably would stifle that process for you.
Oh, totally. If you know, just imagine me saying when I did Gina Thompson, hit me on my car phone. Like, I don't want to look out there and see, because they wouldn't understand that. They would be like, this is not hip-hop. And because I did a lot of sound effects, a lot of my records, and just weird stuff, I just never wanted it to be a room full of people. I feel like I can be myself when it's just me.
Well, I think that's what your music sells, is that your individuality.
Oh, thank you.
Female individuality. 100%. I just wanted to highlight that, because female creativity is not celebrated enough when it's on the outskirts, the edge of like what is deemed creativity. Like, because making sound effects is like...
But even during the time that you came up, where everybody says you have to look a certain way or be a certain way, I don't even think a lot of these artists today realize how much ground you broke for them.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I'll hold my breast on that one.
It's true though. Like, to me, like, the Super Bowl thing was interesting because, you know, I was on Twitter watching it at my house and I'm seeing all these kids talk about how Katy Perry just put on this new artist. You know, and that's cool for you in two different ways. One, it sucks that these kids don't know your music.
Right.
But two, it proved that your music stands up today to be relevant with these kids.
Yes.
And it's timeless.
Yes. And I mean, I've done some crazy stuff. I was just watching She's a video a couple of days ago. And I was just looking like, what the hell was I on? Like, I know syrup and lean and all kind of prescription drugs was not out back then. Like, what shroom did I take? crazy, but I never was scared back then. It was like, yeah, put me in a bald head, put me in a blow-up suit, give me a chandelier to fly on, whatever.
I think a lot of the reason the kids today don't know that you're the root of it is because it's been imitated so many times that it's kind of been diluted and reimagined, and they didn't know where it came from. Because where they're getting it from is people who copied you, like, 5 or 6 years before,
right?
That even came out. So,
right.
But they're gonna know, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm doing a documentary. At first, I was gonna make it just about the making of this video, but then I said I wanted to.
I'm glad.
Take them back on a journey to show them from the beginning to how I got to this place.
Great.
Because I feel like, they have missed a whole slew of things. And so I wanted to not just concentrate on one thing, just my life, my career, ups and downs,
Context is really important.
Yeah.
Very. I'm so glad you did that. I'm so glad you broadened it out, because it's easy to do. It's your story, and there's so many people who, that are going to show up to talk about the magic that you've given to all of us. Magic. I told you, wizard. Wizard.
Yeah, I even talked to Hype. Hype was on 80.
Yeah.
Like, y'all gonna have to edit it because I'm saying whatever. I'm going off on everybody. So, and have Sylvia Rome in there. Those, just so many people that has helped steer my career. And Sylvia was one of those people who never asked me to change anything about me. She didn't never say drop 10 pounds or make a record like this. She never did that with me or Busta, because me and Busta was happening at the same time on the same label, and we probably bankrupt them because our videos was crucial in their pockets, but she let us be us, and that's rare.
And it's such a clear stamp on that time period of what was happening, Like, that will be there forever, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, everything was hitting on all cylinders. MTV was great at that time. Like, it just was perfect timing for the music business and what was happening in the music business.
Yeah, we used to could take our videos up to TRL. We had so many outlets to play videos. Things have changed, but hey, I said, you most definitely not gonna get those over $2 million videos. Not in hip-hop, I don't think. I said, They probably like, yo, pull out your iPhone or your Droid and get to filming, because we are not going to pay that money. But it allows us to still be creative, because, it wasn't just about the money. It just showed, in this video, showed that we could still be creative and not have to have a big budget like that.
I want to clarify something from earlier. When I was saying female, I wasn't trying to separate it and make female like, as people do in society, unfortunately. They, like, as soon as you bring up that it's female or that it's associated with a woman, then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's like the second-rate version of whatever. But because you're right, creativity is creativity. But I was trying to do the exact opposite. I was trying to say, man, at the top of something that is super creative and incredible, there's a woman behind it. And I just feel like people don't celebrate women in that way. And what you're doing, I don't know, I just think your life period is an art in itself.
Thank you.
It's an art form, because you're like living. The stuff that you do just has no walls or ceilings, and obviously no floor. And I just want so many because there's 7 billion people on the planet, I want every girl that has that creative urge, when they're young, if they're listening right now, to know that, like, you can do it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
most definitely.
If Missy did it, like, you totally can do it.
Totally can do it.
Because your adversities were, like, crazy.
Yeah. I've went through a lot. It's funny, because if a guy had did all the records that I've done outside of being an artist, they would have had nominations for Grammys. For a woman, I never gotten any of that because I don't know. But I said it's just strange how it is. That's the one thing as a woman for me, and probably somebody like Diane Warren who go through that.
Yeah.
It's not talked about like that for us. And, we put in a lot of work, I've had a lot of I've had more hits on other artists that I've done than my own. And people wouldn't know that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy discography. Crazy.
No. I went before I came here just going through. I mean, I knew some of them, but when I was going through all of it, I was just like, wow, you've been writing for a really long time. And it seems like moving forward, when you decide that you don't want to be an artist anymore, you should have a setup to where you could put artists out and develop them the same way.
I most definitely, once the group ended, that's what I wanted to do. And the reason why I became an artist was because I remember Sylvia Rome and Marilyn Bob saying, if we give you a label deal, you have to give us an album. Mm-hmm. So that's the only reason why the world even got an album from Missy.
It's crazy.
And then I wanted it so bad, I hurried up and did it. And we did it in 2 weeks. Because I was like, look, let's just get this album so I can get this label there. And we did it in 2 weeks. And that one album went to 2 albums, to 3 albums, to 4 albums. It just kept going. But that was the reason, because I had said I wasn't going to be an artist. I was like, no album for me. But they said, if you want this deal, you're going to have to give us one album. And so me and Tim went in there and did it, and it just kept going and going and going. And that's how people got the artist, Missy, because I was fine with just featuring.
I wonder if what really brought out the best in you was not worrying about trying to succeed,
Yeah, I believe that.
Like, if you were just making that just to get done.
You ain't no psychic or something like something is off now. You just not going to be picking up on everything. But no, it's the truth though.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the truth. It was no expectation either. I didn't have anything before that to say, I got to make this hotter than the last or anything. It was just, look, I was trying to get to something else, and so it didn't matter. Right. If it worked, it worked. If it didn't, it didn't.
I think that's a good lesson for everybody to sort of pay attention to, because I think that's when most people do their best work, when they're not thinking about the end result.
Dude, there'll be times where I'll be making beats, and I'll just say, I'm gonna throw it away. Making beats, I'm gonna throw it away. I'm gonna throw it away. And they're like, okay, man, you ready to go? I'll be like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Let me just finish this one right here. And then that beat up. Bang.
Right.
And that's what I call when you're just you don't like anything that's coming out. It's right when you just all right, cool, man.
That's what happened with Get Your Freak On.
Wow.
Remember I told you, it was Get Your Freak On. Timbaland, he was like, yo, your album is done. It's solid. And we going back and forth. And I'm like, no, something is missing. It's a song missing. And he was like, no, we gonna come with Minute Man. We had Jay-Z on it. We had Luda on it, and Trina, and we had so many. God, we had so many mixes of that thing. And he was like, your album is solid. And so I'm like, no, I feel like something is missing. He get in the car, ride to it. And so by that time, he's over me. He's over me. And so he's just sitting at the keyboard doom, just hitting whatever, because now he just want to go home. And he just happened to hit one thing. And it was doom, 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 doom. So I looked back what the hell was that? And he what? What you talking about? I'm like, what you just hit? I ain't hit nothing. Because he want to go home. He agitated with me. So I'm walking beside the keyboard trying to figure out which thing on the keyboard did he hit. And he's talking about, you talking about this? But he's so agitated, and he hit it again. And I was like, that's it. And so, mind you, the album was complete. That was the last record we did, and I ended up dropping that first. And It was out of anger, actually, that we came up with that record. But it was crazy. Once he put the other stuff around it, it was insane.
as I told you guys before, wizard. She's a wizard.
She's the wizard. I think you should direct movies.
Oh, I would love to.
I think you have that vision. Like I think the most important thing for a director is to have a strong point of view and be able to convey it to other people, and I think you would be good at that.
Did we talk about movies?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so I'm not crazy.
I would love to.
I didn't have no conversation with him, by the way.
I would love to.
I think you just need to find the right script and get the right DP and just be able to convey the message. Because I'm sure the vision for it is there.
I would love to, for sure.
So what are you doing?
This the man with the master plan.
Listen, he's putting it out there in the ether, right?
Yes.
We should figure out how to do that.
I think it'd be amazing.
Just kind of have people start sending you scripts of what story you would want to tell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That'd be next level, bro.
Because everyone will want to see it through your lens.
Crazy.
Listen, he's a little scary, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, he is.
He's a little scary. He's a little scary.
Like Cleo with the little ball. The little ball just waiting for you to pull out that magic ball. But yeah, I would love to. And then maybe, after it's done, we could just all look back at this moment and you can be like, I told you.
Yeah. I told you.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking about it all day today.
Wow. I'm most definitely listening. You ain't been wrong the last couple of joys.
Wrap it up?
Yeah, but before you do, I think it would be cool for you to talk to the creatives, guys and girls, by the way, because they go through ups and downs, and somebody could be right now thinking I'm cool. I'm cool. I don't need to do this, or I don't have what it takes, or.
Well, I think when you're creative, you know that you have something that is different. You just have to step out in faith and not be scared. You have to be true to yourself. That's the biggest thing. A big piece of me not coming out was because I didn't want to conform and not be true to myself. I said, I don't want to do something because it's trendy and it don't work. Then I'm going to bang my head up against every brick that I walk past. But if I'm true to myself, then I'm able to sleep at night if it don't work. I think when you are an artist, you have to be real. If you're an artist and you walk up to somebody and you introduce yourself, you give them the correct name, correct? So when you're introducing yourself to the world, you have to give them the real you. You can't just go out there and flodge and act like... Well, one thing people have to understand, it's okay to be different. It's okay to struggle. Because in hip-hop, there was a time before you got to the fly cars and all the other things that come along with it, you spoke of your struggle. Now, I don't think nobody's struggling. I never seen everybody is rich. Yo, if I'm listening to y'all got more money than me, and I've been doing this for over 20-some years. It's okay, because if you be, real and true to yourself, there are so many people like you. That's why, when you are that person, people can sense what's real. You won't be able to fake it for so long. Mm-hmm. And they will ride with you when you are true to yourself. And it's just important to be creative. Geez. I know people always say there's nothing new under the sun. I don't necessarily believe that. Before a Missy, there was nobody like Missy. Or it can't be there's nothing new under the sun, because somebody created a light bulb and it wasn't a light bulb before that. And so when they say that, I just feel create your own lane. It's okay to be inspired by people. I think we all are inspired by someone, but create your own lane in doing so. And shoot, just go for it. And I know it's easier said than done, because like I said, I've had my ups and downs, and especially when you've been in the industry so long, you start wondering, I was wondering where do I fit in with a generation that just came through out of nowhere? But then I had to say to myself, I never fit in, ever. So why am I trying to fit in? I just think you got to do you, and it's people like me out there that want to, who, you know, may feel like, well, everybody else is doing this, and this is the only thing that people are paying attention to. But when I was out, there was a certain look and style and sound, and I just came out doing me, and people gravitated to it. So you just got to take that chance. I know it's a little harder now because everybody is an artist. Just be different. When I met Pete, I remember him having some jeans on that was cuffed all the way up to his knees. He don't even remember this.
I don't, but this sounds right.
Not the little cuff, but I'm talking about a cuff all the way from the bottom to his knees. I never seen no shit like that in my life. With a dagger that like was a weapon, a spear around his neck. But it was so him. And it wasn't weird or anything. It was so him. And what was fly about it is because he was so different fashion-wise, but then he put on that good hip-hop beat, the hood beat, and that's what made it even doper, because it was like you just when you thought you knew what he was going to do,
right?
It's like you can't even judge it like that because he's so connected in the culture that you would have got sidetracked if you would have seen these cuffs. You would have seen these cuffs he had on. Baby, listen. But he was just being true to himself and always have. You know, Pharrell gonna give you the socks pulled up with the stripes on them, some hard bottom tap shoes, and a good black leather jacket, sailor hat, and still can give you the hottest beats ever. You know, and we accept that that's Pharrell, and that's what makes him genius. He said something to me, I don't even know the man's name. He was telling me this man wore the same outfits. He had the same exact outfit, and he didn't have to worry about clothes.
Einstein.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, and just the fact that he even related that and saw the genius, because when he said it to me, I was like, well, that's genius, because all I do is worry about what I'm going to get ready to wear tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And I need a new shoe. But imagine what less stress it is to know that every last one of my outfits is the same joint. And I'll have to, but just be true to yourself. That's the biggest thing. And you know, try to create a new sound. That's big. And if everybody is doing one thing, if everybody's going to the right, you go to the left. Mm-hmm. If everybody is, they tell you this is all black party, you come in with all white. Like, just stand out, because there's so many people doing the same thing. You're gonna have to find a way to stand out.
Now more than ever.
Yes.
Remove yourself from the camouflage.
Yes.
The wizard has spoken. The wizard is a woman.
The wizard is.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
This was awesome.
For having me.
This was amazing. It's great to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
We got to play a lot of Timbaland now.
Yeah.
Shout out to Timbaland.
Yes.
Timbo the
Shout
king.
out. Actually, Tim has a mixtape get ready to drop too.
He do?
Yeah. I think his first record is with Aaliyah.
Wow. Well, I look forward to hearing that. And not only that, if you are from the Bridal Creek area or out Salem and you have your hands on a DJ Timmy Tim mixtape from the early 90s.
Larry Live do.
Please, Larry Live, send that to me.
Yes.
But if you are, we don't know you, but you have that, please send it to
brokemogulbeats@gmail.com.
And we are going to play some of that at some point. Probably not on this show because it'll be too long. It'll be too long before.
But we'll play it.
But we will play it. We got to. We have to.
Yes.
Right here on Beats.
One.
That was fun.
Yeah, super fun.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
As we go kick flavor like this with me, Timmy Tim. All the BCs in the house down with me. This going out to my man ANT, KID, Babe Bros, D.O. You know me, Timmy Tim, what's up? striped shirts, striped shirts. Skull caps and striped shirts. What? Skull caps and striped shirts, striped shirts. Skull caps and striped shirts. Other brothers rap, but you know the group is kicking. Rhyming that you with it, but you know you can't get it. Cause I can break a hook, and I can shake a hook, and I can take a hook, and I can make a hook. Give me a break, break me up a piece of that Kit Kat. Break me up a piece of that Kit Kat. Break me up a piece of that Kit Kat, boy. Next turn around, cause the shirt is on a mission. Girls, they come around cause they wanna get a listen. Put on a hat, cause my hat is getting naughty. Hope that the girls would just check out the party. Damn, baby, damn, I got what you needin'. Damn, baby, damn, no time for the bleeding. Next up, Starsky, I got you with the hunching. Next up, Brady, I got you with the bunching. Some get big and some be getting greedy. Hot and it's seeking and now you get to see me. Skull caps and striped shirts. Striped shirts. Skull caps and striped shirts. What? Skull caps and striped shirts. Striped shirts. Skull caps and striped shirts. Cause I'm gone, cause I'm not with my cozy. I love it when the girls break, bring her on a rosy. I step into my shoes, I shit, I see my sneakers. And when the mic is amplified, I'm sure to break the speakers. So I get my camera and have it take a picture. And leave me your number and I'm sure to get right with ya. I can leave the scene and then click right back. I eat my tonic greens with my fat back. I rap many shows without my mic stand and pull many hoes. Without my headband, I walk a cool walk, strut a cool stretch. I live to be 100 and still work the left. With the finest girls and try to find stars. I should have a star on the Hollywood Boulevard. I'm so damn cool. I let my clothes on need a hanger. And I'm cool enough to be an R&B singer. Woke up one morning, tears in my eyes. Cause you have left me without a kiss or a no goodbye. Skull caps and striped shirts, striped shirts. Skull caps and striped shirts. What? Skull caps and striped shirts, striped shirts. Skull caps and striped shirts. Here comes the third fact. Magnum verbal jerk. I'm not at all flat. I'm full off berserk. I break my dog hat and burn my white shirt. Slip on my skull cap, slip on my striped shirt. Welcome to the bird world. Watch me illustrate. Magnum is the captain. It's a first mate. Something like cheese curls piled on your plate. Got the air contact, we better in plate. Play state of thought trees. Programming it, take, blowing off the leaves. So I can see the snakes rolling up my sleeves. Cause I'm about to rake. After crowd receives the juice with the quake. Which remain the leaves a lake. Like 7 odd puddles. Living in each puddle is a ball blowing bubbles. Punch the rhythm in the wind. Called my Chad the creator. Back into my back of him cause I'm the funk generator. Generator funk with the dunk to the dome. I guarantee your mind will shine like chrome. Encouraging pleasure as you measure with your own. You pack it like an apple with your hands, not a phone. I pick it like a pick, I pick it like a choice. Choose it like a savior, an almighty source. A set of the truths, and leading souls cross. I'm living light on the path and the bridges that you cross. Now lift every voice, sing in the stick on the song. It's a beauty, but it's fruity with the biz. It's an eye cutie, with my wits, shaking all the booties, shaking all the sticks. It's only blood travel, you can't call maps, man. Song is upset, you better call child, living words. The pen, you can't stall rap. See what you get when you wear a skull cap, not a tall hat. Cause they are from the miss, which is fat. And to a roll of this, victory is where you're at, awarded with the kiss. It used to be like that, and now it's like this. Wake up in the morning and cheer up, put on the Magnum smile. Go to the party and clear up, leaving MCs and pop. Magnum the dandelion, with the funky platoon, sweeter than a honey bun, purveyor as I speak, and I sleep with the moon, and I wake like the sun. So don't be a believer or you'll be grounded, subject to the madness and plus impounded in the jungles of thought where you turn astounded, and always by idiots you'll be surrounded. Upstairs I found it and first I climbed, happy to be down with E and S.B.I. Tell me Rocky, Mr. Magoo, the G.Y. Control brothers, but see I'm the achiever from Delta to Dirt. I'm more like Spark Tim is Captain Dirt. The new S.B.I. DPS network, created by the Soul Caps and Striped Shirts. It's like that, y'all. It's like this, y'all. It's like that, y'all. It's like this, y'all. Yeah. It's like that, y'all. It's like this, y'all. It's like that, y'all. It's like this, y'all. Yeah. Rat-a-tat-tat like my man's a movie. I put my head in on and I was time to get nosy. I'm easing on my sister while she's talking to her friend. I want to express my love like loose ends. But later for her friends, there's a new girl in town. She always been up front and never was up front. She has her eye on me and yo, I must look fly. You see, I'm like LL, and yo, I'm that type of guy. She tried to play like Tifa and said dance for me. But I play like LOG and said I want to tickle your fancy. She looked at me like if I had a problem. You better fix your eyes and your pants just drop and jump in the sack. They fat on your back, spread your legs back, cause here comes the Bozak. So let me break the mood, let me get whack. Let me throw on my lubricated gym hat. Now back to the sack, I'm hitting it from the back. I'm knocking down the walls like a quarterback sack. Now I'm through with you, girl. Call me in September, and oh yeah, by the way, I gave it a raw, and I'm gonna forget you forgot.
That song, it's like this song. That song, it's like this song. It's like that song, it's like this song. It's like that song, it's like this song. Batter up, who's the mover, who's the shaker? Styling don't mean nothing if you haven't met the maker. Tender with your fiddles is the cooking on the menu. Take me to the mall, keep me scoping out the venue. Rapping is a god and the people make the spirit. Try it out for size, cause I'm sure you wanna hear it. If you wanna dance, then you better find a reel. Ain't nothing in the world that can show you how to feel. Rapping is the paper and the lyric is the tinsel. Rapping is an art, now another type of stencil. Some be eating chicken, but we all about the typing. Never wanting better, feeling low and keeping griping. Do it for the juice, cause the girls are steady want ya. Only when you're living, cause the people wanna stop you. Cause when it comes to lyrics, show us all about the mental. If you want a teeth, then you better get a dental. Keep it in your heart and you keep it for the young. Rappers keep your drums and they keep it steady song. It's like that song, it's like this 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 song.
Magnum, the verb lord, opening the door. For third eyes for thought travel, tickling the core. For sheep that are thirsty, I run them to the shore where I flow on and flow until I can't flow no more. Now Mayday, Mayday, the flow's on its way. Have you heard the news? Yeah, hey, shoes are like canoes, floating on the bay. Funk behind the blues, make me wanna say, Doctor, doctor, can I be admitted? The first problem is I'm surrounded by idiots. When we collaborate, my happiness snap. Plus I got a weight problem, I can't wait to rap. Now first comes a thought, and then comes a word. First comes a thought, then comes a turd. Shooting off the smarts, the manner is absurd. Now you're watching the flight start as if I was a bird between the sun and the moon. It's where I began, and now I'm on the earth, beginning with the land. I can get cold as a winter in Japan, hot as a desert in Afghanistan. Later for the land, now I be a fish deep beside the ocean, where it is a risk, hoping that I live, and now so is this. For now I chase a mermaid, and started with the kisses.
It's like that song, it's like this song. It's like that song, it's like this song. It's like